India already has about 150 million online shoppers, and this number is projected to be 300 million in the next 10 years. That's almost 25 to 30% of our entire population. And the D2C market is expected to be about $100 billion by 2026. This is almost 10. I mean, this is almost 10 times of where D2C was maybe about 3-4 years ago. So very rapidly growing space. It's the right time to sort of be in this market. And the key categories that we are finding are leading the pack. There's categories like FMCG, which include personal care, beauty, health. There are categories like fashion that are doing really well. Consumer electronics, which is a surprising category, but with the audio visual sort of revolution happening, it is becoming a category that is going to grow pretty rapidly as well. And then home decor is also another category which is booming in this segment. The way I've organized the sort of presentation today is talking about the 6 main parameters in terms of how you set up your store, how you get your business going really. And I've broken them down into finding a product, right, which I think is extremely important, right? We've been in the enablement market, so while everything from 3 to 6 that you see up here is something we've done pretty actively, but 1 and 2 is really all the innovation that entrepreneurs that we work with. They are really sort of the leaders there. They are really good at finding a niche, finding an everyday problem, converting it into a product. Then basically talking about your brand name. What should you call it? How do you make it memorable? How do you make sure that people can relate with it? Setting up your actual digital presence, right, or your web store. Setting up your logistics and supply chain. Setting up your ad accounts and analytics. And then finally, setting up your CRM and the post-order experience for the buyer to really pack the whole thing together. So with that, let me get started with the first section. Finding a product niche is extremely important, and I think it's deliberately, while it's the first step in the entire journey, and I wouldn't say it's the hardest step, it's the most important step, because if you get this wrong, then none of the other things really matter, right? And the beauty of going D2C is that you can get it wrong a few times and you can experiment. The cost of launching is today not very huge. You can try out different products, you can try doing sales, you can try running marketing and seeing where things land. So it's not something where it's not a huge cost that you need to incur in terms of experimentation. But that being said, locking down on the right niche of the product is extremely important before you start to scale your business. Some ideas that have been thrown at me, when I spoke to or speak to various entrepreneurs is, how do you find a product, right? Some ideas that have come up is that, well, find an everyday product, right? Or find a product that solves a very specific problem, right? While there are tons of products that are more generic, they could be mass market, there are always sort of narrow niches, right, which are targeted to a very specific set of people to begin with. It may seem like it's a small market, but look, India has got over 1 billion people. There's a taker for, even 1% of that is a huge market. So if you can find a problem that is very specific to a certain segment of people, it's worth digging into, worth solving. You can also fall back on stuff that you're passionate about, right? So you could look at stuff that you buy a lot as a consumer, let's say in the last 6 months, a lot, right? I mean, it could be diapers, it could be creams, it could be anything, right? And then think about that, well, I'm personally passionate about something and I'm keen to sort of learn more about this, and that will allow you to find that nuance about a certain category or a certain kind of product for you to then go deeper, for you to then go and innovate and maybe make it better while launching your product. And then finally, you can always look at sort of trends, right? You can look at what's selling well. You can look at trends around which products are scaling really fast, both in India as well as globally, and then try to put your own spin on it. You can try and find a differentiator.